Okay, I'm very happy to invite pianist Carl Petersson. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
We are celebrating all over the world, and it's very exciting that we can play his music. And now we are in this corona pandemic, so it will be a different stories. But anyway, we hope that you are coming to Sweden in August, and you have a very special program.
I had the pleasure of recording for Naxos unknown pieces by Beethoven for piano. Unknown, they're not completely unknown, but they are certainly not played as much. And there are some world premiere recordings of these pieces from what I know. For instance, the Knight's Ballet, which I'm supposed to perform in Gothenburg, and Wellington's Victory, for piano and two cannons, actually. The weirdest chamber music piece I ever played. So, the story went actually that Beethoven, he wrote this piece for Panharmonicon. It was an instrument designed as I would say the world's first analog synthesizer. It was as they said, a monstrosity, an abomination of an instrument. It was created by an inventor, I don't remember his name, but he wanted a piece which could showcase all the effects and everything. It had trumpets, it had obviously the cannon shots and other things. And Beethoven wrote something for this device, but it was not wide enough for the claviature, or what you say, the keyboard. And the result was that he ended up writing for the orchestra. However, it became Beethoven's biggest economical success, from what I understand, and so he wrote it for piano with compulsory cannons. Needless to say, we did not record this with real cannons. Well, we had real cannon shots, samples, which we added into the score, and I will perform it with loudspeakers on stage, connected to a computer which will fire off. But yeah, it is written and it will be performed as he intended it, except I'm not sure what he was thinking, because when I was seeing the score, I was really wondering, well, what was he thinking? Because it's not like it's one shot and then you have time to reload the cannon. No, it's boom, 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 boom. It goes like this back and forth, and it's not for two cannons, basically. It's like a complete lineup of weaponry, artillery on each side, because it has to be a stereo effect, so I think it would be impossible to perform on stage. I'm the only one with a recording with real cannon shots on a modern piano, yes.
Okay, so did anyone ask you to play this piece, or how did you find this piece?
I had no idea it existed, actually. Naxos Records, they contacted me and gave me a list of Beethoven pieces they wanted me to record, and it was a lot. It's almost, I almost recorded 2 hours of Beethoven unknown, and not only, of course, the Wellington, but I think this piece is what stands out the most. I started playing the recorder, actually. Like everyone had to do that in Sweden. If you didn't play the recorder, you couldn't start playing any other instrument. But I lost interest, and it was first when I was like about 14 years old, I heard a girl play on the TV. She played the Totentanz at international piano competition, which was broadcasted. And I was like, wow, this is really great. You can do that? I was not familiar with classical music before that, not to this extent. And I was completely taken away with this. And I was thinking like, if she can do it, so can I, because she was the same age like me, the girl, I mean, in the TV. So yeah, I still to this day didn't learn the Totentanz, but I played other pieces, so it's okay.
And you studied the same teacher as me, Professor Jose Rivera, at the Royal Academy of Music in Copenhagen. But before that, did you have another teachers?
Yeah, I studied, well, in Helsingborg when I started playing. I played for a Bulgarian lady, Helena Baicheva, and she was necessary for me because she was very strict, and in short time I actually could get some technical facility, so I could actually be accepted to a music academy. And then I studied 1 year in Gothenburg with Hans Petersson. And after that, I studied in Copenhagen, as you mentioned, with Jose Rivera. And all of these teachers were very different. And I would say what gave me the most was a combination of what I learned from Hans and Jose kind of encouraged me to develop my own musicality. So it was a really huge help I received from both of them, actually. Yes, Jose, he sent me to Israel every year, literally for, I think it was 5 times. Every year I went to Israel for months, and I studied with Nikolai Petrov, Nina Salzman, Stefan Scheyer was there one time, and Viktor Derevyanko and Emanuel Krasovsky.
What do you practice nowadays?
Now, well, as you mentioned, a lot of Beethoven, sure. But not only things I recorded. So I'm sitting with Appassionata. It's a piece I wanted to learn for so many years, but I never had the time. So now it's a perfect opportunity. Also, I just finished the 7th Symphony of, well, Beethoven, but in Liszt's transcription. And the Allegretto, the second movement, is one of few piano pieces which are transcribed from orchestra to piano, which I actually think sound better on the piano. It's the only movement in that symphony that I think sounds better on the piano, actually, but yeah, I might be in the minority.
So you have quite a lot of things going on now, I mean, to learn music. So before that, you have been teaching in China as well and other countries. Would you like to share about any memories or any, I mean, the difference of cultures? How is your experiences there?
China is very interesting. They have a huge interest in music, and concerts are always full. They're fully booked. I mean, and also audience, it's sold out normally. So when you perform in China, you can always expect a huge audience. They are also very eager to learn. They are very happy when someone comes and have a knowledge because they really want to absorb that knowledge. So it is very nice. And you're always very well taken care of. At least that's my experience from China. I always loved to be there. It's really wonderful, and the people are very warm. So it's very nice.
I was thinking about your career, have you been participated in competitions? How do you, I mean, how did you decide, or when did you decide to become a pianist?
Well, I don't know exactly how that happened when I decided I wanted to become a pianist. I mean, after that particular competition I heard, I was really determined. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to perform. If that would make me a pianist, I don't know. I didn't think in those terms. I actually didn't even think about those terms even when I was studying at the university, at the conservatory. So I don't know. I guess it just happened, and I'm very grateful for it, even though it's a life full of hardships and struggles, because it is. So competition is something I will get a lot of hate for this maybe, but it's one thing I don't really believe in. It's competitions, because okay, I can understand if it's for children who plays better or worse. That's okay if you lose half a note or whatever. It's a good catalyst to practice, sure. But when you're adult and you are performing and you perform well, and I'm really speaking now good performances, that means you're using the instrument as a vessel to channel your emotions upon the audience. We are not speaking about like a singer, oh, she sings false. No, I'm speaking about you are not having intonation problems, you're playing well, you are giving your emotions to the audience on a platter. And you have a competition jury that will say, oh, I don't agree with what he was doing here. It's not that in the score. Oh, why did he do mezzo forte here if it says forte? You know, and if you're angry and the piece is about anger, who is he or she to say how you should feel when you're angry? I mean, this is what the art is about. You are producing your emotions on stage and being judged on how you feel a particular thing. I don't think that's beneficial for music in general. As I said, I can understand competitions for the lower years and so on, but if you're in the big competitions, or even if you slide on 2 notes and you make a riveting performance, and someone will say, oh no, he missed 2 notes or 3 notes. I mean, what's that about anyway? I mean, it's not about music. And I think many of these fantastic pianists, I really enjoy listening to Lang Lang. I really, really enjoy listening to him, but he's not a competition pianist. I don't think he would win many competitions with his style, even though I love that he's doing something. I love listening to him because he really does something. He's really producing something by what he believes and how he feels, right? And but you don't win competitions by this. But you win the audience. You win the audience, which is more important, I believe.
To give something emotion to the public. And yeah, so actually, so when you decided to traveling, and you have to, if you want to be a professional pianist, other than to participate in competition, what did you do to, I mean, continue as you believing that you are going to continue as a pianist?
Well, when as I said, I don't even know if sometimes it feels I'm not a full-time pianist, even though I think I am. But so I did not take part in any real competition as such. The ones I did attend, I kind of won. I say kind of because there was only one prize and it was Grand Prix, like Chopin competition in Antonin in Poland, but it was not even my choice of go there. It was my professor that sent me there. So it was like, yeah, well, I'll go. How did I get any kind of career? It was me becoming my own agent. As I said, I like being on stage, and I noticed if you play the same program a couple of times, you feel much more comfortable on the stage. So I wanted to use the pieces I learned and play them many times, because each time it's a different audience. So nobody cares if you studied this piece for 1 year or 1.5 years or 5 months. They just want to feel something. So I realized that very fast, and I was contacting every single possible concert place in Sweden and abroad. And I really mean literally everyone, every church, every organization, everyone, but not only Sweden. I went on Wikipedia and I started on A, and I started with like Argentina, Andorra, all these, and I came down complete Wikipedia through, and it took me months. I actually had a couple of my email accounts blocked as spam. I could not even open them.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how many possible answers I missed, because if Microsoft blocked my account, I can't enter it, you know? So yeah. Why spam? Because it was the same message to everyone. So
yeah. And did you get any reply then? How many replies then? If you send like 500 mails, did you receive like 10 or 15?
Yeah, something like that, between 1 and 10. Between 1 and 10, or even less.
Okay.
It's very hard. I mean, a lot of any concert organization, and I'm sure you know yourself, you get hundreds of emails in 1 month. Pick one, you know, or pick 5. It's really hard. It was the same when I was organizing a tour, and I had musicians that wanted to take part in the orchestra. It was so many, because we have a lot of musicians that are graduating and there are not enough jobs. And that is also very, very hard to cope with, actually. Yeah, normally they asked me, do you have an agent? And I didn't, but so I created an email in the name of, it was a Carolina, and yeah, anyway. And so I answered them with that, oh yes, dear Mr. I heard from Carl Petersson that you wanted to hire him for, this is his fee, this is his program. Here are some recordings he did. I had a couple of recordings even with, when I was from study times, and I sent, and they were like, oh yeah, and I got my first bookings this way, but of course it's blatant lying. I had no agent, but I created one.
I remember that you played a lot of Leopold Godowsky. How did you get to that composer?
First of all, I had no idea about this composer at all. I had no idea he existed. I had no idea about anything of him. But I started at the university, Gothenburg Music Academy, when I was 18. Yeah, 18. So, you know, 4 or 5 years of piano practice. And I heard from a lot of people, oh, you're too old, you'll never become a pianist, you'll never be on stage, you know, these kind, which makes me just, well, sure, I'll show you. So I started practicing more, just to prove that I could. Out of either stupidity or just glee to show that it is possible. Then I heard this interview at Kulturnyheterna that Marc-André Hamelin, he recorded all the Godowsky Chopin etudes. He rewrote them for the left hand, right? So, or he combined two etudes at the same time. But so it was like, circus music or something like that. I learned a couple of etudes just to show that I actually could. I was looking for the most difficult pieces I could find. And trust me, Godowsky, Chopin, it's up there. It's really, it's, all of them are horrendously difficult. I mean, if you would like to make a top 10 list of the most difficult piano pieces in the world, don't look any further. You can just pick 10 of those ones among other pieces if you want. But then I heard the Java Suite. And it was an Indonesian pianist, and she recorded the Java Suite. It was the world premiere performance. I heard the Java Suite, and I was really, really taken away. I mean, it was so beautiful, so wonderful music. And I couldn't believe how it was like Debussy, but still romantic, even more romantic, and sincere. Yes, it was really sincere. And when I got the score, and I was like, I thought the Chopin etudes were difficult. Oh my! So it was also a shock because it sounded so nice. It sounded so easy.
Yeah.
And that was when I understood the genius of Godowsky. It is not show-off pieces. Even the etudes are not meant to be show-off. He wrote them so he could help people develop the left hand, because he believed the left hand is more adaptable, because the right hand is in constant strain. Also, he believed the left hand is better situated to the keyboard, because the thumb, index, and third finger are naturally in the upper register, and the weaker ones will be weaker in the bass. So everything is more natural on the keyboard. And the right hand is doing all these shimmering harmonies that are held in the background. So Godowsky is really a master of polyphony, and it's not, if we listen to his music, it is written that you have the melodies very melodic, yes, and they are really beautiful and slow. This is important to say. He didn't write melodies that, no, not almost nothing at all. That is the accompaniment. The melodies are here. So it's like symphony orchestra pieces for the piano. I was too stupid to understand that when I was 18, but after I wrote my actual doctorate, PhD on his life and his music, I realized that this is really not show-off pieces, which makes it even more hard. So. I really recommend the Java Suite. If you like Rachmaninoff, Debussy, and a little bit more personal touch on that even, I really would suggest the Java Suite and the transcriptions of the Schubert songs.
Right.
They are absolutely magnificent, really fantastic.
Thank you very much for your time and for this exciting conversation.
Thank you.